Hello everybody, this is iSlime, or the Anything Dude here, and I would like to do some tutorials on paint.net, on just making a picture, and a few effects that might help you make an image look more what you want it to look like. Sorry. But, yeah, what you're looking at now, ignore that. What you're looking at now is a picture that has only an outline, and on the inside it shows a shadow, so it looks like it's dipping in, basically. There's no shadows on the outside here, there's just shadows in here, in the inside. It might be hard to see my mouse, I'll see if I can switch it. Here we go. So in here is all these shadows here, and on the outside are these, well, sorry, is nothing. So you're just going to get this dip in kind of effect. Another example is this here. Kind of looks like there's a white sheet and there's cut in objects into it, and you can see the underside of it. Here's an effect where this is put on a layer. It's down in this corner. I can zoom in here. That's a little scary. Let me move this out of the way, and you can see my little thing here, and it kind of is it's a nice stamp, kind of. It's a little thing that I rendered out in Source Filmmaker. I think I might be doing some tutorials on that as well. I'm not a big huge animator in it, I mostly make wallpapers out of it, but making wallpapers you need to know your bloom, camera levels, you need to know lighting, and a lot of things like that, and I think this one turned out very well. So I'd like to work a little bit more with that. So, how do you make this picture? Or a picture that has this effect. So, let's open up a picture here. I just want to get a simple one. I have a lot of pictures here. There we go, let's use this. I've already done this before, so it's not too difficult. I'm just going to make this an outline first because it's already a solid object, so yeah. Anyway, I'm going to cut this bottom part out of Gateway, select this and fill it in, so now we just have that. Actually, I'm going to cut this out of the picture. I'm going to select all the white with the magic wand. And as you can see, it takes out everything there. I'm going to select that. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to delete it and paste it on a new image. And in this, I'm just going to take this layer away for a second, and I'm going to fill this in. Kind of see the white edge there. Let me do this a better way. Alright, so now they're separated. You can see we have our logo. What we're going to do with this logo is I'm going to center it simply with a plugin that I have. This isn't required, of course. Anyway, so now this is in the pure center, or at least it should be. Let me see if I did that wrong. Yes, I did. Alright, anyway. So, now it's in the center. What we're going to do now is we're going to outline it. By doing this, it's going to kind of make this weird effect. Sorry. I'm trying to remember exactly how I did this. It's a little difficult. Oh yes, I use this drop shadow effect. Now, if you don't have this plugin, which I very highly doubt you do, because you probably haven't even started using plugins, and that's fine. If you don't use plugins, that's fine. They are very useful though, so if you're not using them and you think they look cool, then they are, and you should start using them if you think they could help you in any way, and they really do. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to it, adding just a solid black line around it. Basically outline, but outline isn't very trustworthy, you can't really trust it, and yeah. But also, I'm just going to go over very quickly how to do this without this plugin. So, the way we do this is we duplicate the layer, and this bottom one here we're going to go into the curve editor in adjustments. We'll reset that, we don't want that. We're going to go in luminosity, and we're going to drag it all the way down. This might get completely black. So if we take this out, see this one's black. Now, what we're going to do now is go to layers, rotate and zoom, and everything should be on things. If you've used this before, then just make sure to reset all these. And we're going to zoom it in just slightly. Now you see it looks a little weird here. And there was a way to fix this. I just have to figure out. Oh, yes, sorry. You have to use the median. Median, we can then make up the percentage around it. So as you can see, there you go. Sorry about that. I forgot. It's not rotate and zoom. That's for a different thing. Similar to this, but not quite. The edge doesn't really get the exact same measurement around it, but it gets it pretty close. Anyway, and then you just make this and you merge these two layers down. Anyway, I'm not going to do this. I am just going to use the drop shadow, but it'll work the same way. I'll make this outline a little wider. I'm going to take all the white in this picture and delete it. So now we just have this. Now what we do is we fill all around this with white. So now we just have this. Now we have this layer, and this gray here is all we see at the bottom layer. This white will go away very quickly. What we're going to do now is in the object, we're going to add a drop shadow effect. Oh, oops. Sorry, my bad. I did not click on the right layer. Anyway, we're going to do the drop shadow effect. And it has our previous settings, but we're just going to rank up the blur. As you can see, it kind of looks like it's indenting already. And that's what we want. I'll turn this a bit down and turn the shadow opacity down so we can make it more realistic, because it's a little dark. So anyway, it's pretty good. I like that. Go 190. Just going to put it down to 190. It's just a better even number. And by the way, if you have this plugin, don't know what this does, it just keeps the original image. So if you do this drop shadow effect and then you just unclick it, you'll just get the shadow. This can be pretty useful, but for the most part, I've never really used that. Alright, and now save your settings, and then just select and delete it. And then if we delete this, now I have it. There's our outline. As you can see, look at that. Looks really nice. It indents into it. If we put a picture over this, I'll just put in a layer pretty quickly. I have a lot of weird pictures in here. I don't know why. Anyway, let's move this down. As you can see, our layer up here kind of looks like it's indenting into it. It's just a tiny effect, but I've been trying to do this for a while, and I'd always get the exterior shadows, and when I tried to delete them, I'd always just go plain with the eraser, and I'd go around and I'd try to delete it like this, you know, and that's not very good. It's not practical. It doesn't work very well. This one completely cleans up all the exterior shadows, doesn't even let them exist, and just gives you interior shadows, and that really makes it look like that the outer part of it is aligned with a different plane than what it is in the inside. Even though it's just clearly an illusion, it works pretty well. Of course, play with your shadows, play with how dark you want them, how wide you want them, how blurry you want them, to make them as realistic as you can get them, or just in the right setting that you have set. Anyway, that's really all I have for this little tutorial. There's a lot of other things I'd like to do. One that I'd like to show is how to make a cartoony outline. I'll just show you what this does, and I'll do it in a different video and not in this one. But as you can see, this is Atlas from Portal 2, or sorry, Peabody from Portal 2. What am I thinking? Peabody from Portal 2. I have another picture that has this kind of Borderlands 2 outline. It's quite rough, but you can easily smooth this out with some blurs and really fixing around with them, or fooling around with them. If you look in my effects too, I'd also like to point out that I have a lot of plugins here. I will be using them, so if you see any plugins that I say I'm using, just search up the plugin name and you'll most likely find a plugin that suits the same style. It might not be the same plugin, but I've only seen one drop shadow plugin other than this one. This one's pretty much the same thing, except it isn't very good with softness. Softness is basically how blurry it is as well as its shadow opacity at the same time. So that one's not as practical as the drop shadow. The drop shadow just gives you way more effects. Plus this already gave me a drop shadow. It already looks like it's 3D to me. It's really good at doing what it does. But anyway, oh, and by the way, if you've used Photoshop before, you're gonna want to get these Grid Warp, Liquefy, Smudge, and Twist. These are just very good brushes. Liquefy, as you know, you can just kind of twist it, morph it, and go. Now it's Morphe, Peabody, and then Smudge. Smudge pretty good. Smudge is pretty good if you have like a rough area and you want to really make it smoother. Because as you can see, I'm smudging it and it looks very blurry now. But it's very good for certain areas. I can actually give you an example of a place that I use this. On this picture called Night Shot. Pretty big. It's just a wallpaper made in Source Filmmaker. But right here, where the sniper's wrist is showing between the watch and the glove, the texture is all kind of morphed, and there's these lines being shown from the shadows. And everything else looked great. As you can see, it looks pretty good. The depth of field is right. Just all the shadows are very correct. You can even see Archimedes up there and the spy behind him, and it looks good. But here all the textures were stretched and it was very bad looking. So what I did is I filled it in with this color here, darkened it just ever so slightly, and then I smudged it around so it's smooth with all the other lines, and it matches now. It's not the greatest, but it at least works better than what it was before. I sadly don't have the picture before, so I can't show you that, but it does look much better. Anyway, that's it for the tutorial. I'll stop talking and I'll do more tutorials about what I've just talked about. But anyway, that's it. I plan to do some Source Filmmaker tutorials, some more Paint.net tutorials, and maybe just tutorials for other things. Maybe even Camtasia Studio itself, because some people, even though it's a very easy editor, some people still don't know how to do everything in it. So I'd like to make it easier for them. Anyway, that's pretty much it, and I will see you guys later.